We've been following the story of Donald Trump's taxes for a very long time now, ever since he became the first major party candidate in decades not to release his tax returns when he was running for president. And it's not legally required, but it is tradition. Americans want to see them. Polling during the campaign showed around 75% of Americans wanted to see Donald Trump's taxes. And at a certain point, Trump made the calculation that what is in the taxes is more damaging to him than the scrutiny that he is receiving because he hasn't released them. And there's a few possibilities about what might be in the tax returns. The least serious is just that Trump is vain and he's not as rich as he claims, and that if he released his tax returns, that might be evident, although there's not even a guarantee that that would be the case. Taxes wouldn't necessarily expose exactly how rich Donald Trump is, but it might. And that would be sort of like the least serious reason Trump doesn't want to release them. Next is that his taxes might expose criminality or tax evasion or connections to the Russia probe. There are people who are saying Trump doesn't want it to be public that he pays very little taxes. I disagree with that because he bragged about how not paying much in taxes makes him smart. So it's hard to imagine that a low effective tax rate is what's keeping him from releasing the taxes. But now that we have a democratically controlled House, there's the sort of most real possibility of getting those returns in a very long time. And we've learned now about a two-pronged scheme to prevent the taxes from getting to House Democrats. And Trump's Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and his cronies are front and center in trying to prevent that from happening. So there's two ways that they are going to try to keep Trump's taxes private. Number one, the Treasury will argue, a special team at the Treasury will argue, even though Democrats shouldn't leak Trump's tax returns, it's very obvious that they're going to if they get them. And therefore, we are justified, the Treasury will argue, in not handing them over to Democrats. That's one argument. The second part, which is a more complicated one, is that as soon as they have the opportunity, the Treasury will, or the people appointed to handle this at the Treasury, will start making all sorts of arcane legal arguments to prevent the release, to justify not releasing the Trump tax returns. And what they're basically planning to do, and it may work, is just create a really, really long legal fight into 2020 or beyond and just not flat out deny the release of the tax returns, but start to issue legal challenges based on all sorts of arcane and antiquated rules that might apply, and hopefully just try to run out the clock. And next thing you know, Trump's not president anymore. The White House was asked about this strategy and about the reports that the White House and the Treasury are on the same page in terms of what the strategy is going to be to prevent these tax returns from going public. The White House, not surprisingly, has not issued a comment as of a few hours ago. We just have to zoom out here. You know, I've said so many times over the years, we often are presented with a story at some degree of detail or granularity. And sometimes we learn more about it by zooming in and looking at specific details. But sometimes to really get perspective on a story, you have to zoom out. This is one of the cases where you have to zoom out and ask the question, would anyone go to such extreme lengths to hide something that would just make them seem like they're being transparent? Because if there was nothing in the tax returns, either for good reasons, criminal reasons, reasons of vanity and Trump's wealth, whatever, if there were not really good reasons that Trump sees as good reasons not to release your tax returns, would you go to this much trouble to keep them secret? I don't think that you would. Now, you might call me a contrarian on this issue. I actually don't think the taxes would reveal criminality. I think that the taxes might give us some ideas of maybe places to look, but I think Mueller knows what those places already are. And I don't think the tax returns would give us any provable evidence of criminality. I think that the taxes would expose Trump as just not as rich as he claims to be. And ultimately, this comes down to Donald Trump's personality and the cult of personality around Donald Trump as being a billionaire, however many times over he claims to be at this point. But I think that that is actually the reason why Trump doesn't want the tax returns released. I don't think we're going to get criminality even if they are released. And then the question on the back end of all of this is, does Mueller already have them? As great as that would be, I don't think that he does. I actually don't believe that Robert Mueller already has the tax returns. If you think he does, let me know how he got them. Hey guys, if you have a dog or a cat at home, or if you're looking for the perfect gift for somebody in your life who has a dog or a cat, check out today's sponsor, Pet Box, a subscription box where you can get 50% off of your first box when you click the link under this video and use the coupon code Pakman. When you sign up for Pet Box, you get an awesome selection of premium toys, all natural treats for your dog or cat, delivered to your doorstep every month. And each month the box is totally different. It's actually very affordable. When you sign up for the dog box, you tell them what size dog you have, and you get a monthly variety of chew toys, raw hides, bags of dog treats, and a whole bunch of other cool items catered to the size of your dog. The cat box comes with a ton of different stuff every month, like catnip, toys, snacks, things for them to scratch on. And almost everything that comes in each box is made by small family-owned businesses. I just got the dog box for my dad's English lab named Nemo, who, if you follow me on Instagram, you're probably familiar with. Got a bunch of cool stuff, including pterodactyl treats and a chew hide thing. Obviously, I don't know what all these things are called. And a toy, which I know my dad is just going to love that noise. And the best thing about Pet Box is that they give 10% of the proceeds to a nonprofit called Tender Loving Canines, which helps provide service dogs to people with autism and to vets with PTSD. So part of your purchase goes to a really good cause. And like I said, you can get half off your first box when you click the link under this video and use the coupon code Pakman. That's Pakman.